This is reddogterrain. Welcome back to the shed. Today we're building a house on stilts. I don't have a neat intro for this one. I don't even really know what inspired it. I just thought of building a house that was high up on stilts and in the jungle. I started by cutting up some cheap dollar store foam board, gluing it into a rectangle, had a little arched roof line. Whenever I go to the library, or at least the main library, I always bring a flash drive that's got a file on it that's got a whole bunch of windows, and I just get them to print me out a set of windows every time. So now I've got a box full of windows that I may eventually use. I used 3 of them on this build out of the 50 or so that I have. With a fresh blade, I cut panel lines into the outsides of this, and then used my gnarly wire brush to put in a very simple but very effective wood grain texture. Pardon the interruption, but I wanted to let you know about something exciting happening here at reddogterrain, here in the shed. We will be joining the Plastic Microphone Studio, which is a group of local guys here in Louisiana, all getting together to cross-promote their YouTube channels and their videos and their podcasts and their novels. Just working together to try and get a few extra views and collaborate with each other. Nothing's going to change here at reddogterrain. Just might see an extra few logos here at the bottom. So once we get this kicked off, please go check out those other guys and their channels. I'll be sending links and descriptions and all that shortly. Thanks. This is just chunks of the thick XPS foam put on the inside. If you've got more contact area, more surface area for the glue to stick to, it's definitely going to last longer. It's going to stay together better. This is something I've learned over a long time. Failed builds where I thought, oh, these 2 thin pieces will stick together just fine just because I put super glue on it. Not always the case. You need more surface area. Some thick cardstock. I cut it, fold it. I made some corners on it that are curved and glued it on there. Used a little bit of super glue and baking soda just to fill in some gaps and make it fit better. While I've got a second, I want to talk about the YouTube terrain and game building community. They're so supportive. I've met so many people who have encouraged me to keep going and give me suggestions and have reached out and done collaborations with. There's a bunch of special people out there who are very nice and supportive and want to see the community succeed and want to see everybody in it succeed and will do what they can to help you out. So thanks to all those other YouTube and terrain builders and Warhammer painters and all that. It means a lot to be around these kind of people and to be supported by them. Thanks. More cheap dollar store foam board to make the base that it sits on, like the patio. I wanted this to be off center. I don't really know why, but in my head it was, it's got to be off center. Maybe it's so that there was enough space to put all this person's stuff on. Also at one point, and I don't really film it because I forgot, I cut out a small section of the flooring and raised it up almost like a step. Also, again, I don't know really why I did that, but in my head I was like, oh, there's just going to be this little step, it'll be a little elevated area. I don't know. Going back to the thick XPS to make the stilts, these are 4 inches. I can't remember. No, they're 4 times 5 is 80. That can't be right. These are 2 inches tall? 3 times 5. I don't know, remember how tall these are. I thought they were 4 inches. 4 inches times 5 would be 20. These are 4 inches tall, and therefore to scale, they come out to 20 inches high. The house is 20 inches off the ground. The house is 20 feet off the ground. After I put the roof on, it was symmetrical. I decided I wanted to make a little covered area, so I chopped off one side, built a couple little posts, and then glued these back on there. This was a little finicky. The glue didn't really want to hold the way I wanted to, so I ended up having to put pins in it, and I just left the pins in it. In fact, I left a lot of pins in this one. Right here, these pins that are going into the stilts, they're still there. Some of the pins on the inside, still there, and they'll never come out. Now we go to the black Mod Podge, the secret sauce. I almost gave it away. This helps strengthen the glue. It helps, not the glue, it helps strengthens the foam. It is glue. And I guess I painted the rest of it and didn't film that either. I'm real good at this. I cut out some cardstock disc to put on the bottom of the feet of the stilts. Glued them in, and then used the pro acrylic basing material to add a little bit of texture. I didn't want to break out sculpt mold and all that, or make up a batch of custard. This was so much easier to do it with this material, with this product. It took years of hard work, cutting and hauling lumber, digging holes for the stilts, shaping the roofline and nailing it down. But he'd finally achieved his dream home, a quiet place in the jungle, somewhere to while away the days listening to the birds in the trees, watching the monkeys swing through and the families of kinkajous scurry across the ground. He wrote poems about the beauties he saw. He made sketches and paintings of the wildlife. However, the fragility of old age had quickly caught up with him. Now he sat on his porch pondering his final days. Who would eventually find him, and in what condition? How long before someone noticed and came looking for him? And what would become of his beautiful home and his final resting place? I painted everything in browns and tans and some reds, and then went over with a black wash, an oil wash, and then dry brushed the whole thing. It was really a simple paint job. I painted inside the windows and then put like a silver on the window frames. So if there was an inspiration for this build, this is it. While walking through Michael's with my partner, we saw this material. It's like a ropey material that's already been flocked, and it was a roll of it, and it was a couple of bucks. So I picked it up, and I bought 2 rolls, and that was probably a year ago I bought this. And this is what became of it. I wanted to put this all over the roof. I think it comes out absolutely fantastic. I did fill in a few holes here and there with some flowers and a little bit of flocking and tufts. But this material is super cool, and I want to use it more. I just don't know what to use it on yet. If you have any ideas what I could use this for, or thoughts where I could put it, let me know. I put glue down on the round disc on the bottom of the stilts, and then pulled out one of my absolute favorite products, the 4-in-1 huge miniatures flock. I realize there's a lot of product placement in this video. I didn't mean to do that. It's just I want to let people know the cool things that I'm using, things that can save them lots of time. things that work really well that I've found. And then I made vines. I've never made vines before. I watched a video or two about it, and it's simple enough. I pulled apart some twine, put it in with some ink and water, switched around, let it sit for, I think it set for like 12 hours. I don't think that really matters though. I did brown too, just because it was just too green. Pulled them all out, laid them out, and then once they had dried, I dunked them in another bath of watered down PVA glue, and then just sprinkled on flock, and eventually I rolled it like I was making bread, glued it on there. This works out really well. It's super easy. It's super effective. I'm gonna make more vines later. Into the video is quickly approaching, so I'm gonna ask you to like, subscribe, leave a comment. Comments are my favorite. I respond to everybody. I also made a rope ladder. Real easy, just some twine, super glue, some sticks. But I'm going to be quiet. I'll let the music play as we roll to the final shots. Thanks for watching.